When I first heard the question, I was a newer father, and so I took it as a personal challenge. But over the last 5 years when I decided there was no way I was the person to ask or even especially answer this question, and I started to learn that indeed the more than human world is an important ancestor. So how is the way in which people shape a place and are shaped by a place, how is that intersectional process itself an ancestor?
To me, it's not just about being a good ancestor, but like, our panel said, being a good relative. You have to start somewhere. Being a good relative to Mother Nature, being a good relative to each other, being a good relative all the way around to the four legs, to the, animals that fly by. It's all part of our responsibility because everybody is connected.
I think just being here this morning together in community, creating community, supporting each other is being a good ancestor.
So when I think of the word ancestor, I think of all of the generations before me. It really kind of brings it home that we have a responsibility to the generations yet to come. For myself personally, I want to be one of the people that shares the knowledge of our cultural lifeways that have been passed down to us through the generations. Hard to get somebody to care about something if they're not there interacting with it. And so it's another way to involve the next generations. And then after the burns, when the wild potatoes are growing back, or the little fiddlehead ferns, or the hazel for baskets, will bring kids back out there to harvest those things.
Our participants today talked about hardships in life and how future generations will experience hardship. And it made me think that as Native people, hardship was always there. I mean, it was hard work coming into existence. If you listen and read creation stories by Native people, it was hard work. Animal relatives sacrificed their lives to bring up earth, to make the earth from the water. So I think that's the one difference, is that as Indigenous people, we never expected anything to be different.
Well, when I think about ancestor, I think about how it's not just about whether or not you're living or dead, whether or not you're young or an elder, or whether or not you even have kids ever, whether or not you're remembered. These things aren't part of the ancestor question for me. I find I have good ancestors from the more than human world. I'm always inspired by the story of Douglas fir trees and how when they die, they release their chemicals into a mycelial system that enlivens the rest of the forest. And to me, that's like an inspiring relative, teaching me how to be a good elder as I hit 50, And so for me, being a good ancestor, what an ancestor is, it's not just a human, it's an ancestor that recognizes and practices oneness, collapses the boundary between the individual self and the world that sustains it, the individual self and the community in which we thrive. That planting is a physical manifestation of we are the land is us, we are each other.